Alrighty, is this thing on? Microphone check 1, 2. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I am your host, Patrick Vallejos, and we're broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. I want to welcome you guys back to Anything and Everything. This is where we are open to discuss whatever we like, whether it be politics, world events, current affairs, most importantly, true crime, and personal stories, accolades, if you will. I have a folder full of items that I would like to discuss. But before we get into that, let's see what's going on with you folks. James Tate. God bless you, man. Thank you. That was nice of you to say that. V. Marie, one of my favorite mods. Good to see you, V. Miss Dog Lover, good afternoon. I hope you guys are all having a great day. Happy Tuesday. Today is November 26th. 2 more days till Thanksgiving. What's up, Charles? Necessary Evil in the building. Ziggy, always good to see you. Copper Horse, hope you're having a great day. Don Spain, how you doing, my friend? I know you're busy. You're always running around. Thank you, Copper. Jill, how you doing? How's Indiana? Oh, I guess it might help if I turn on these lights. There, that's better. Turn this one down a little bit. Good to see you, Jerry. So what is going on with all you beautiful folks out there? Any interesting stories to tell? How do you guys do on holidays? What's up, Patty? Do you guys get along with your family? Are you dreading having to sit through all that small talk with your sister's husband, or that random person that always shows up? Miss Dog Lover. Oh, it's official. That's why I did the poll. How do you like your steak? So the poll question of the day: how do you like your steak? Bloody, medium, well? I'm vegan, you murderer. I was a vegan for a long time. It was part of a spiritual journey, and it's probably the best shape of my life. I used to wake up and run about 4 miles every day, early in the morning, and just work out and spar. But I had a good support group, a little crew that I ran with, group of roommates. That's all we did was train, smoke pot, and listen to reggae music. The good old days. What's going on, CJK? Oh, and by the way, Blind Squirrel, your hoodie is on the way. It was shipped yesterday. And if any of you viewers are watching who purchased some t-shirts from the sleuthintuition.com merch shop, those were all shipped yesterday as well. So right now, the majority of you are saying medium. But I know some of you are going to say medium well. That's kind of my choice. But if I had to pick, I would have to say well. Good morning, Phil. What's up, Shane? Rare steak, but not mooing. Just slap the cow down on the table. Have you seen the movie The Cowboy Way? It's a good one. Let's discuss the absolute insanity on YouTube by the True Butters. The hell is that? Can I get a little bit more information? I'm not familiar with that. What's up, Frank? All right, who did I miss? Hey, Carla. Starting Thanksgiving dinner with things that will be fine for Thursday. Like what? What do you guys do for like snacks? Do you guys put out like snack trays? You know, like the cheese, crackers, and little slices of sausage. I love that shit. You know, little dipping trays, celery, carrots, little bowl of ranch. Necessary. I stick to myself. Well, I'm definitely an introvert at heart. You know, I don't know if I'm an introvert. I'm more of a, I hate small talk. You know, some people they can't sit in silence. I thrive in silence. You know, some people they just can't sit at the same table without saying something like, "Oh, how about that weather?" As soon as you say that to me, I give you a dirty look. I get up and I walk away. It's like, no, no. I might even say that to you. No. Point at you. No. I don't know. Some people they just can't handle it. You know, that awkward silence. To me, no silence is awkward. It's preferred. Visa's family gets along. Couple may irritate me, but blessed. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like I love seeing my family. I'm gonna enjoy spending time with my dad. Um, but yeah, sometimes my brother he can get on my nerves. He's one of those guys. He's just young, young at heart. You know, he never really grew up. CJK. Oh no, we are close and love each other, but some kid is going to argue with another, guaranteed. Usually, we'll just be playing. Most of the time, we'll be playing games like cornhole, horseshoes. We'll just be hanging out in the backyard with the music going. It's still pretty warm, so I don't know if the kids will be in the pool or not. It's probably too cold now. Patty says we have a good time, good conversation, and no one gets angry over politics. Yeah. Um, definitely not on the same page as far as politics with my brother or my sister. But we don't argue about it. We don't even talk about it. They know where I'm at. They know I'm a conservative. Blind squirrel. If you're just joining, I just want to let you know I did ship out your hoodie. It should be there by Saturday, it said. So if it's not there, I would say by Tuesday, shoot me an email and I'll send you the tracking information. Same goes for you merch shop shoppers. Melissa, what's going on? Halloween's your favorite holiday? My wife loves Halloween. She decorates the house amazingly. I think this year for Halloween there was more of like a Harry Potter theme kind of going on, floating candles and all that kind of stuff. All right, let's take a look at what I have on the agenda for you guys. So I think we're going to talk a lot about Shane Mian and the whole Greg Ferenczi debacle. Don't mind the dogs. They're like right below my office window here. So we're going to talk about Shane Mian, Greg Ferenczi, and how that there's a whole conspiracy about how Greg Ferenczi was killed by Shane Mian because he was uncovering the Odinism, the real killers in the Delphi case, which is absolutely ridiculous. But we're going to go into that. I have all the documents here. Let's see. I have the criminal complaint. That's 4 pages. I have the motion to extend time to file indictment. That's 4 pages. Some crime scene images and a few videos that I want to go over with you guys. And I couldn't find anything to point at Shane Mian that he was into Odinism. I mean, he has 2 Facebooks. They're still up. None of his friends have rune tattoos on their faces. They all look like normal people. I think what we're dealing with here with Shane Mian is mental health, 100%. Losing your grip with reality. Then we're going to look at a case of Adelai Maestro. I think it's Maestro. Have you guys heard of this case? Man kills 3 family members and a dog. Shot his father, mother, and his 17-year-old sister and killed the dog. Then almost escaped from an interrogation room by kicking a hole through a wall. This all took place this year in New Mexico. Bizarre. Very bizarre. We can talk a little bit about P. Diddy. We got a video on P. Diddy. We can talk about a few random items. But that's what I have prepared for you guys. So whatever you guys want to talk about, we can hit that first. Or in between, whatever. Leaving for Indy on Friday to visit son and DIL, daughter-in-law, in their new house. Nice. Congratulations to them. They must be super excited. Last time we were there 2 years ago, we went over to Delphi and the bridge. Yeah, I still have a trip that I'm planning to get out there. Because you know we're going to be hitting the floor arson case really hard here on my channel. See if we can bring some attention to that case. Good to see you, Melissa. I've been very busy on the floor fires case behind the scenes, by the way, guys. I'm working very hard. And I have a person of interest also. Be talking about that tomorrow, by the way. We'll be covering that case during a live stream. Melissa says medium rare. Dawn, I'm looking forward to Christmas. I've got my first grandson. He will be 17 months old at Christmas. Woohoo. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you must be stoked, dude. Congratulations, Dawn. Miss Dog Lover. No, we have a few Brits. We have a handful of Aussies. We have some South Africans. We have some folks from South America who are, that's the group that's usually here on a daily basis. I think Shane, he's from, I want to say Scotland. I think Scotland. Scotland or Ireland. Not quite sure. I forgot.
He wasn't right in the head.
Either way, he's not right in the head. Hey, TJ, if the steak ain't mooing, I ain't chewing. So you like it bloody. Well, 17% agree with you, TJ. 58 say medium. If I had to pick, I would probably say, I know it's a tough one. I think medium's okay. No vegans in the house. What's up, Big Fish? Big Fish is in the building. Oh, the true nutters. Spell check changed it. A nutter is a crazy person. Yeah, we can talk about that. Let's talk about the nutters. You know, they're obsessed. They just can't let go of the Delphi case. They just can't let go. What are they going to talk about other than their fucking conspiracies? They should try covering the factual information for once. Medium or medium rare, but needs to be rested. Yeah, but what kind of snacks, V? What snacks are we talking about here? You don't celebrate it? What's going on? What's up with that, Charles? Shane, I watched the John Bonet doc. More questions than the answers. If it's an outside person, he knows the family. I check their friends list. Pretty good though, right? I think the main takeaway is the inconsistencies with DNA evidence. You know, I think just because you have DNA, let's say from an unknown male, it really doesn't mean anything unless it's specifically like semen or blood or something like that. But if it's like skin cells and stuff like that, I mean, honestly, it could come from anywhere, like a factory or maybe even somebody at the store who was looking through the clothing and got their fingerprints all over it. I think it's only beneficial if there's a match, right? Like, hey, if it's a match, then we now know that you're tied to this case. But just because you have unknown DNA, I don't think it disqualifies any of the other POIs. Because we know less than 10% of killers even leave DNA at the murder scene. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. Less than 10% of murder cases involve the killer's DNA being found at the crime scene. Staggering. What's up, Caleb? Welcome in. Good to see you. We watch football, movies, play a game or two. Well, you got to watch the Lions. You know, that's always on the television. And of course, they never win. V. Marie, when I was younger, silence made me feel awkward. Now everyone just shut up, please. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. Sometimes when when you meet people for the first time and they're always a lot of folks are always depending on that really outgoing person to keep the conversation going. Me, I just kind of look around at everybody being awkward, like kind of looking around, on their phone. I'm just like, all right, who's going to be the first one to break? I can feel the tension. And then sure enough, hey, how about that weather? No. And then I walk out. Just kidding. I wouldn't do that. What's up, Megs? Yep. I got your email. We have missing prostitutes in Indianapolis and no one is looking into it. Help, Sleuth. Yep. I'm on it. Sounds like a serial killer to me. Remember, those serial killers will target sex workers because they've already gone through the process in their mind and probably have attempted to kidnap, been stalking people. They're trying to figure out a way to fulfill their fantasies without going to prison for the rest of their lives. So the easiest way to do that is to target sex workers. Why is that, you ask? Well, because if they go missing, people won't report them right away. And also, they'll get into your vehicle. You get all the hard work for a serial killer is wiped off the table when they target sex workers. That's why the list. That's why the majority of serial killers. That's who they targeted. You can see the fledgling attempts. Like with the Zodiac, where he would get behind people in their vehicles, flag them down, go through all that trouble. Um, just leaves too much evidence, too many witnesses. But they always start um, with a few failures. They're trying to figure out how to get their hands on their victims. Then they realize, well, I'll just target sex workers. Silence is golden. Did I miss caricature? Well, if you hear caricature, what up? Stop that right now. Welcome in. Is it that cold? Don. Get along with them, but they're all lawyers and they talk that shit nonstop. Oh man, I bet. I think that's why people become lawyers. They love to talk shit. That sounds fun. I think it's good, being thankful and gracious, showing gratitude goes a long way. Just be grateful. Just be grateful for the breath that you're able to take every second. Grateful for the air we breathe. I mean, life is a great gift. We take it for granted, for sure. Yeah, I don't talk. If I talk politics with my dad, we just kind of butt heads. He's just really old school. We talking 0 degrees or what? Yep. Congratulations again. We're going to do another drawing. Actually, as soon as these damn hoodies come in, they've been delayed. I don't know what the hell's going on. But as soon as they come in, guys, we're going to do another drawing. What's up, badass? CJK, that Southern T channel says Alan is innocent. He was just standing alone on the bridge. Well, yeah. I mean, that's how you're going to get clicks on your channel, right? People love conspiracies. Jerry, we combine family and friends and set up a big buffet. Ooh. Laugh and talk for hours. Now let me tell you how country we are. We play chicken shit bingo, family tradition. That reminds me of loteria, the Mexican version of bingo. That's fun too. You guys should try that out. I can get with that, Jerry. Sounds like fun. Yeah, Copper, we're not really doing the Etsy shop anymore. That goes for all you mods if you're watching. But thank you. It's still up if you guys want to go get like a mug, cards, but we're getting ready to shut that completely down and go to the .com merch shop. Don, I tell them I've watched every Perry Mason episode, so if they need any help, just call me. Are we talking defense attorneys here? What are we working with? Diddy is racketeering behind bars. They're saying, yeah, that's the video I have. We'll take a look at that right now. I don't know what the hell's going on with Thanksgiving. I think no matter what, it's on a Thursday. So as long whatever Thursday is, I think after the 24th, that's Thanksgiving. Frank Jarvis Atwood. Every time you guys throw a case at me, after these live streams, I actually go look it up. What's up, Heather? Was Abby's phone ever found? No. I don't know if it's been proven that she had a phone. I think she could have easily had a burner phone. I know I would, if I'm hanging around with all my friends and they have their cell phones. Think about it. All you need is an old phone. Like, hey, give me your old phone. Connect to the Wi-Fi or tether. Blind Squirrel, the winner of yesterday's hoodie giveaway. I'll be styling and profiling and sporting my new Sleuth Intuition hoodie. Yeah, congrats to you, Blind. Thanks for hanging out on my channel for so long. Welcome in, Annabelle. At work, popping in and out. Have a great day. Hold it down. Don't let anybody bring you down. Ireland. Ireland. It's Moy Island. It's Moyne. Do you mean Ireland? Yes, it's my island. Congrats to you too, Phil. You got your hands full. Hey, Katie. Husband likes his blue rare. The amount of waitresses that have gagged when he orders that is priceless. What is blue rare? Is that like where it's still moving? What's up, Rescue? Let's see where we're at. 60% of you say you like your steak medium. 18% say bloody. Yuck. 23% say well. And we have no vegans in the house. Bunch of savages. I don't know what's wrong with the nutters. What's their problem? Like they don't care about accusing like Kelsey German with zero evidence. You ask them like, why are you going after Kelsey? Oh, she laughed funny. She wrote an essay. Like there's absolutely no real reason to be doing that to people. Karma's gonna be a bitch for those folks. I can guarantee that. Karma's coming. Karma's coming like Jason Voorhees. You know how he just keeps walking? You're running as fast as you can. And every time you turn around, he's kind of walking slow, but he's still like just right behind you. That's karma. He gonna get you. It's coming. Brie and fruit and nuts. That is yummy. Hey, time and a half, buddy. Time and a half. My ex-wife's family were proud Irish. They wanted to fight when I said Ireland, Scotland. What's the difference? It's Moyne. What's up, right field? Shout out to Dublin. We're up to 20% bloody now. It's picking up steam. Hey, YouTube bad actors in the building. Medium rare. Yeah, I wish I had more options. I would have put medium rare and medium well up there as well. Because that's what I always ask for. Medium well. What's up, Nancy? What do you think of John Bonet's theory that it was the banker friend of John Ramsey who helped put together the ransom money motive jealousy? I don't know. Honestly, I'm so torn on that case. I am so, yeah, that's a crazy case. What's his name? John Mark Carr? I mean, God. If he's not the fucking killer, like, what the hell is going on here? What's up, Stargirl? All right, let's get into some of this craziness here. Here, we'll start with this P. Diddy news, which I thought was shocking. I don't really care too much about this case, but I feel like this is a tip of a bigger iceberg. Hopefully, right?
In our law and justice lead, another shocking turn in the case of Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors, as you know, say that the music mogul committed some unspeakable acts. And now they're saying that he's engaging in witness tampering from behind bars. How do they know that? Well, through evidence that Diddy's attorneys say the feds should never have been able to obtain. They are accusing federal prosecutors of what they call outrageous misconduct. Personal notes that allegedly contain attorney-client defense strategies were seized from Diddy's New York jail cell. Combs' legal team calls that search a violation of his constitutional rights, and they're demanding an evidentiary hearing. Not so fast, though. Prosecutors defend the seizure. They say the notes were obtained during a nationwide pre-planned sweep of multiple prison facilities. They claim the notes were reviewed by a filter team, someone not involved in the case, to remove privileged materials before they were turned over to prosecutors. Now, prosecutors are arguing the notes that they got contain evidence that Diddy may have tried to influence witnesses, alleging that he paid a witness after making a public statement. Diddy's team strongly denies these allegations. This development comes as Diddy, who has pleaded not guilty to sex trafficking, racketeering, and related charges, is set to appear in court Friday. This would be his third attempt.
Yeah, this case is going to be a circus for real. What's up, Loxy? Drug users. Yeah, anybody that, if they go missing, people are going to say, oh, well, maybe they're in rehab, or, maybe they're on a binge, or maybe they just went back home. Maybe they got clean. And hitchhikers, yeah, there was a few serial killers through, I think, what was it, throughout the 70s who were targeting hitchhikers. And hitchhiking it could have been like the greatest thing ever, right? You know what I mean? It's good for the environment. It's killing two birds with one stone. I'm already going that way. Jump in the car. You give me some conversation. We're both benefiting from this. Now, you just don't know if somebody's going to stick something in your neck.
To be released on bond. The case is now raising serious questions about due process and pretrial detainee rights. To clear up some of these questions for us, Joey Jackson, criminal defense attorney and CNN legal analyst. Joey, just to remind everybody, allegations are not.
Yep, and the homeless as well. Well, the thing is so if let's say you target the homeless, all of their friends that are kind of living on the streets with them too are going to say, oh, well, maybe they got arrested. Maybe they went back home. Maybe they went to the shelter for a night. So you're going to have days and weeks, maybe even months go by, before they even start to question, like, well, I wonder what happened to this person. In the meantime, you got the serial killer who's already targeting their next victim or have already killed multiple people.
Is not a conviction. And Diddy is presumed innocent until proven guilty. But the big question here is it legal for the prosecutors to seize personal notes from a pre-trial detainee, even if a filter team has gone through them and taken out anything privileged? And also explain what a filter team is first, if you could.
Yeah, so Jake, this discussion, no matter whether you love Diddy, don't like him, think he's guilty, think he's not guilty, that's not the issue. The issue is the propriety of the conduct of the government as alleged. Everyone is entitled to a fair trial. Now, the first question comes, well, should the government have been searching his cell? Do they have these searches in jails? Is that appropriate? I think the general answer is yes. They're going to have searches of various detainee cells for safety reasons and other reasons. So as a result of that, expect and anticipate that your cell will be searched. The next question becomes, well, if there's information with respect to that search that deals with your case, that is attorney work product, right? Not attorney work product, but certainly attorney client. When you're visiting a client in a jail, you have discussions about your case, about witnesses, about strategy, about issues. You may take notes or do anything you like.
What the hell? That doesn't seem right, Stargirl. Says I read once gratitude helps elevate or alleviate. I feel like it would alleviate. I don't know. I think showing gratitude is kind of therapeutic. Spiritually, I think it's great for you too. Just being thankful instead of God, please give me this, give me that, give me that. Just say thank you for everything that you've already given me.
Either with your attorneys or when you go back. Now, if the government has gotten that specific information, the answer becomes, well, why and how? That leads me to the question about a filter team. If you get information, and it could be attorney-client privilege, right? You should have the right to speak to your attorney about everything and anything, but it should be filtered. There are a government team. In fact, the Department of Justice created a team in 2020 to do just this. Filter information so that team is not part of the case, not part of the prosecution. You look for attorney-client privilege information, you parse it out, then you give it to prosecutors. What was the process followed? What was the protocol followed? Was it followed properly or appropriately? We don't know. That's why a hearing is necessary. That should never get into the hands of prosecutors. It's unfair.
Yep, I was watching that CJK. CJK says Karen Reed is back in court today. Yeah, I think it's live right now. I was watching. It's kind of nothing really going on. I think they're having an argument about certain pieces of evidence that they're trying to either enter in or remove. So yeah, if you guys want to watch that, that's live right now. But I mean, there's not a whole lot going on there.
It's inappropriate, shouldn't happen, and that raises serious questions. That's what a filter team did. Did they abdicate their responsibility? We'll see at a hearing.
This all coming on the heels, of course, of a recent court filing where prosecutors were citing jail phone records. They claim that Diddy used the phone accounts of at least 8 inmates to evade monitoring and to make calls that they allege are also witness tampering. How does his defense team respond to that as they're trying to get Diddy released on bond?
Listen, that's a question of fact, and either the government has the goods on that and he was attempting to do it or not. That's an allegation. That's something else that could be addressed at a hearing or not addressed. But I think the main and core question is, if you have materials that's prepared with your defense lawyers, how do prosecutors get that? Should prosecutors have gotten that? Should the defense team have been given notice to object to that prior to it being given to prosecutors? And so again, no matter what you believe in as guilt, we have to have a process where people believe, in their government, and their government's not going to overreach. And I think there's a critical question here that'll be determined not by me, but at a hearing as to whether or not those protocols were followed, whether the search team or filter team followed the appropriate steps and parsed out the information that they should have.
Yeah, they're not letting him out. If they let him out, it's going to go from witness tampering to witness killing. But I have a feeling they might Epstein Puffy Combs, especially if he's been blackmailing people with videos like Epstein was. Jerry, no zip up hoodies. It's probably just going to be these black ones, and maybe every once in a while, like some random weird colors, but usually it's going to be black and gray. Keep it simple. Yeah, I love hoodies. Call it hoodie weather. Because here in Phoenix, we can't handle cold weather. Like if it's 60 degrees out, like that's hoodie weather for us. What are your thoughts on Karen Reed? I'm torn, Loxy. I am 100% torn. I feel like she's responsible, but I'm not sure yet. I haven't looked at all. I'm still looking at the evidence. We're going to continue to cover that case on my channel. I have a lot more information that I've kind of gathered, and we'll probably talk about that at some point, maybe next week. We're also going to be covering the Maura Murray case. I'm going to have case expert back on to discuss it, Chandler, probably Wednesday. But when it comes to Karen Reed, I just don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think they're going to convict her if they can't prove that she was set up. Hey, Sensei, thank you so much for the super sticker. And we have a super chat from Cindy Lean. When'd you sneak in here? Keep it nice and relaxed. What are your guys' thoughts on Karen Reed? I'm leaning towards guilty. You know, they were out drinking. Now, if they can prove that those pieces of tail light and all that stuff was planted there, then she's obviously being set up. But to me, the wounds on his arm, although they do look like an animal attack, I could easily see how it could be caused by broken taillight plastic and things like that. Especially if you're being pushed backwards and then, you know, vehicles rolling over you. Yeah, for all we know, the taillight hit him in the head, in the back of the head, and then kind of spun him around. So I don't know yet. I haven't made up my mind. I'm torn. I mean, the jury's, they got their hands full with that one. I don't know. Maybe she'll walk. Maybe it's just not clear. But I'm leaning towards guilty with her. V says Thanksgiving is always the fourth Thursday in November. Always. So no matter what. So there's not a specific date. Very strange. Welcome in, Scott. What's up? Medium rare, actually. Yeah, I wish we had more choices. But between the three, which would you pick? Bloody, medium, or well, if you had to. Hey, we have some vegans in the house. And say, I'm vegan, you murderer. Shout out to the vegans out there. Misbehave, what's going on? Abby used Libby's. Yeah, that we do know. But she could have had a phone that we don't know about. It's possible. But that's just pure, you know, speculation. Hey, Anna, how you doing? It would be funny if Abby had a burner phone or whatever, and the Delphi offender swiped that phone while ignoring. Yeah, it's possible. For all we know, Abby could have been the target. I think after sentencing, Richard Allen's gonna. I think he might provide a little bit of information. Be Jesus, my granny, who was Irish, used to say. All right, let's watch a video of Alex Jones basically road raging this morning. This is what it's like to ride with Alex Jones to work in the morning.
As society breaks down, you get these mentally ill people like this guy who get in the fast lane and drive 20 miles under the speed limit or 18 miles of speed limit. And you say, well, the car's in front of him. No, there wasn't a car in front of him. Look at this person. Now, I
hate that shit.
That's a Democrat. A lot of times they have Democrat stickers on their cars. I mean, just morons. And it's getting worse and worse. Just absolutely devastating.
So according to Alex Jones, he says, and I hate this. I hate when people get into the left lane, which is the fast lane, and they drive even the speed limit or a little bit below. I don't understand why people do that. If that's you, I don't like you. There's no reason for you to be doing that. But according to Alex Jones, those are all the Democrats.
Was stupid. And they don't understand that the left lane is for passing. They think it's like this open lane for them to enjoy themselves. And it's just indicative of people having no knowledge about anything. I mean, it's just everywhere in Austin, all over the country now. I mean, it's constant. People in the slow lane. I mean, the fast lane. And I'm talking about 15, 20 miles on the speed limit. Brain dead morons going under the speed limit for even the slow lane. I mean, a cop.
What's going on with this guy here? He must be.
They're the ones
asking for money or something. He doesn't have any legs.
Need tickets.
He's got like a cowboy hat on, a beard. I wonder what his story is. I bet you this guy has quite the story to tell.
They're the ones that need tickets. But that's spiritually indicative of what they do. They hold back society. They sabotage innovation. No money for space travel, but lots of money to cut little boys' penises off. And, $15 million grants to study shrimp on treadmills. You think I'm joking? I'm not. So, it's just classic BS. Absolute classic BS. I want to have like a t-shirt or something that says, the left lane is for passing. Get out of the left lane. But they are leftists, so they like
I'll buy that shirt. That's one of my pet peeves. So that's what it's like driving with Alex Jones in the morning. Permanent road rage. But I do agree with him. God, I can't stand that shit. Scott says Scotland's better. I would prefer it to be instant. Camp Crystal Lake, yuck. Well, when you live in a desert, it's like gets really cold at night, like into the 30s, and then it'll go back to 70 during the day. But I know what you're talking about, Melissa, with some hoodies where they're really tight right here. Yeah, I hate that shit. These ones are pretty good. I feel like the extra large could be just a little bit bigger, but I mean, this one fits my fat ass okay. It's really soft too. Hanes, they make some quality stuff. The sewing and the stitching is pretty good for being, more of a cheaper hoodie. CJK, people who have no morals and ethics are typically miserable in every aspect of life. Yeah, a lot of projection from those miserable people out there. They do a lot of projecting. They blame others, yet they do exactly what they're. Yep. See, there you go. Every day of their life is filled with turmoil and hate. Well, I think narcissism causes a lot of that. When you go through life blaming everybody, right? It's your fault. It's nothing that I did. It's not my attitude. It's yours. Life is about give and take. It's all about balance. And if you're heavily balanced more towards yourself through narcissism, you're just asking for turmoil in your life. Without balance, that's what you're going to get, turmoil. I agree with that, CJ. I got a claim when I was 18 from a car crash and was absolutely fine. I said I hit my head and had headaches. Karma got me back. I got sick for nearly 2 years. There you go. There you go, man. Karma will come back and get you. Badass. Just knock off the horns and wipe the hiney. Oh, man. So you definitely picked bloody. I should have put up there, still living. So let's take a look here. 56% of you like your steaks medium. 22% prefer it well. I'm right there with you guys. I think I prefer it more well than I do medium. I think the less blood, the better, but I don't want it burnt, right? I want it to be somewhat tender. 20% of you are savages and prefer your steak to still be moving. And 2% of you out there are vegan and are utterly appalled. And no pun intended with the utter. Yeah, and I've come to find out all you can eat doesn't really mean all you can eat. I was watching a YouTube video the other day of a guy who got kicked out. Man, this dude, he was like 6'5", a good 350. And he was just going to town. I mean, he was there for out. Hey, Solar Chef Steph. My husband ordered filet mignon. Yummy. Well done and charred at a high-end restaurant. I wanted to yell towards the kitchen, please don't spit in mine. I'm the same way. Me and your husband would get along. Because I'm the guy, like, I went to this place, it's called Cattleman's. It's like, it's a higher end. It's like $90 for a steak. Best steak I've ever had. And I still asked for A1. But when I did, everybody turned and looked at me like I was some kind of fucking weirdo. They're like, oh, the chef's going to come out and smack you. I was like, all right, that's fine. But I just remember making the best steak and eggs the following morning. Apparently, they give these, they feed these cows wine. They spoil these cows. Spoiled cow tastes really good, by the way. And I figured out a long time ago that people who always blame others for their woes are mentally off. Yeah, it could be part of mental health, having some kind of issues there. Run if you know folks like this. Yeah. That John Mark Carr guy, he explained, he gave the best explanation about the ransom note, in my opinion. Everything that he said make me feel like he is the killer. Hey, what's up, Humano? For it to be anyone but a Ramsey doesn't make sense. I mean, it's to me, because if they went out the night before and somebody broke in, that would explain how he knew about the money. He's kind of rifling through their stuff, going in their room, looking at, the checkbook, looking at bill statements. Doesn't make any sense for the mother to just bash in, a small child's head because they wet the bed. And there was a lead investigator who said that there may have been a taser used. So I don't know if it's that clear, Humanimal, but I haven't ruled that out either. But I wouldn't say anyone but a Ramsey. I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, I still believe that that's a possibility. The whole Mark Carr stuff just baffles me. Blows my mind. GP, what's up? Diddy is nasty. So I don't know if they're going to let this even play out. But if they do, there's going to be a lot of people who get in trouble from what from where I'm sitting. You have a former president hanging out with P. Diddy. So famous basketball players, movie stars. It's like, damn. Yeah, they're not going to let him out, Big Fish. If you let him out, that's going to, expand tenfold. Might even have some witnesses that go missing. Some famous people, maybe even. I know Justin Bieber. He seems like Diddy fucked him up pretty bad. Good to see you, GP. Smoked brisket. That sounds yummy. With some chili con queso. Yep. Lots of possibilities, Anna. My only problem with the JonBenet Ramsey case was the tunnel vision by law enforcement. That fucking drives me crazy. That's my only issue with investigators is they get tunnel vision, like a lot of us do and like a lot of us have. But if you're investigating an actual murder case and it, justice is determined by your decisions, that can't be something that you do. You can't have tunnel vision. That cannot be you. Especially with all that experience, Yeah, you can't risk it, Humanimal. You just cannot risk it. Which sucks. Hopefully one day we can get back to that, where we can trust each other in society. But the problem is that we have too many mental health issues. We have too many victimized children that grow up to become victimizers. There's just a lot of anger, a lot of hatred. Too many people struggling right now. Desperate people, I think, cause these types of issues in society. Eileen Wernos. What's that rescue? Well, yeah, you don't need the Puff Daddy situation to know that Hollywood is fucking pure Satanism. I mean, we all know that. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. It looks like we have another super chat. Miss Doglover. What he did to Cassie was awful. Poor lady. Mustang with the super sticker. Thank you so much, guys, for sponsoring today's live stream. We used to have a joke going on my channel because everybody would mistype the name Scooth. So everybody just started calling me Scooth. So don't worry about it. Makes me giggle. Yeah, I was more of a Tupac Shakur type guy. I definitely took sides in the Tupac versus Notorious B.I.G. I was more on the Tupac side. And you can just tell he's a piece of shit. You know, your gut will tell you that. I bet your wife could sell the crap out of that elderberry syrup. I wonder, that shit is fucking amazing, you guys. I mean, the mind is a powerful thing, you know, with the placebo effect and all that. But I mean, I feel like this shit is pretty much fixed to my arm. 2 shots a day, guys. That's all it takes. And she went and got these bigger jars. So now we have more on deck. So the diddler is in danger. The diddler. P. Diddler. That's funny. P. Diddy. How perfect is that? Now we know why they called you P. Diddy. Because you're the diddler. Oh my God. J-Lo, did you see her get up on stage for Kamala Harris? Like, you're telling me you had to pay her a couple million? And she's hanging around with a diddler? No, thanks. There you go. We got another UK. Shout out to the UK. What's up, Cindy? Thanks for the super chat. All right, I'm trying to catch up on the chat. Sensei, what's going on? Manus says Delphi was a big drain on time, with the subject so complex that we've made new friendships, new channels have started, and a lot of other things. A lot is positive, some not so much. That's a good point, Anna. I mean, I definitely got involved in podcasting because of the Delphi case. I hated going into a chat room where people were bashing the family and letting people get away with it. It really bothered me. I didn't feel like there was any safe space, you know, for people who just wanted to have dialogue and have an open discussion, a mature discussion at that. That's why I created my channel, and it's just been evolving ever since. You talking about the guy in the wheelchair? Yeah, me too. He has no legs. He's hanging out on the freeway at like 3:30 a.m. I'm really curious to know what his story is. Okay, how many of you... I'm not going to play this whole video because I think they might strike this video. But you guys remember this? So this guy set up a meeting with a child online to have sex at a hotel, and the cops were waiting for him. You guys ever seen this? I'm not going to play because it's extremely violent.
What's the time?
And look, he was ready. He's to the point where he can't even control himself. He's like, I got to go here, even though I have a hunch that the police are going to be waiting for me. He has his gun and everything ready. What if it was a child? What's he going to do with that gun? That's the problem with these sick pedophiles, is they can't control themselves, and that's what leads to the murder, right? They have this sick fantasy, and they have this sick attraction to children, and they go through with the sexual assault, and then now they're overwhelmed with shame. Now, what? I can't go to jail for this, so now I got to kill this innocent person to protect myself. That is the danger that we face when it comes to our children, and a lot of women out there, even some men, might be at risk. But this guy's sickness led him to look at this hotel room. Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
Hey, what's the time?
Grown ass man. But I did find a quick little article on this. Let's take a look at that. I haven't read this yet, but I was kind of curious to hear the facts behind the story. SPD releases video of deadly shooting of suspected child predator at Tukwila Hotel. This is in Seattle. Somebody needs to tell this guy that's not how you hold a pistol. Well, you can't tell him anything now because he took a lead bath. Seattle police released new body cam video Friday evening that shows the moments leading up to officers fatally shooting a suspected child predator in Tukwila. I feel like I'm not saying that right. Earlier this week. Seattle Police Department Chief Adrian Diaz said the 67-year-old child predator suspect arrived at the Doubletree Suites Hotel around 3:13 p.m. on Wednesday under the impression that he was meeting two young girls aged 7 and 11. 7 years old and 11. However, unbeknownst to the suspect, multiple SPD officers with the Washington State Internet Crime Against Children Task Force were undercover and waiting to arrest the man. The task force at the SPD investigates child sexual exploitation, SCE cases. These cases may include the production, distribution, or possession of materials used to sexually exploit children or service provider systems used in committing such crimes. The newly released video shows the officers opening the door for the man, who immediately flashed a gun. A scuffle then occurred before police ultimately fatally shot the man. There was no scuffle. As soon as he pulled out the gun, you had a cop just started shooting him in the dick, honestly. That's what it looked like. So these guys were ready to annihilate this guy. And you ain't going to see no tears over here. But I mean, Jesus. Officials at the scene said a Seattle officer was grazed by a bullet on their leg during the shootout with the man. Yeah, most definitely friendly fire. Diaz continued to note that internet crimes against children are up 67% from 2022 to 2023. That's pretty scary. For our officers, these situations are dangerous, unpredictable, and can escalate rapidly, Diaz said. I was running. I could see someone firing a gun, said Eric Wormester, who was staying at the hotel several doors down. There was a rapid succession of gunfire. Good thing they were shooting away from my room. It could have been a lot worse. The cyber tip line received 36.2 million reports of suspected child sexual exploitation in 2023. 36.2 million reports. So we've talked about folks that kidnap young women, young girls, and keep them prisoner in dungeons that they build in their homes without other family members even realizing it. But we go through life day to day, ignoring all this stuff. I think that's why true crime is so important, is that we face these hard topics, we face them head on. Nobody wants to go through life talking about CSAMers and kidnappers and things like that. But when you come face to face with somebody like that, it may be too late. I think it's better to educate ourselves first, and then that way we can be better protectors of our family. Yep, I agree, Anna. It's a pet peeve of mine. Good to see you, Mustang. All right, let me zip on down here. I feel like I'm falling way behind. No, I'll be at my dad's. Looking forward to seeing my brother, my sister, my niece, and my nephew. So I'm pretty stoked. I don't know, Humanimal. I feel like you've already made up your mind. It's hard to argue with somebody that's already made up their mind, Hey, welcome in, T-Bear. I think it was accidental and the family was trying to hide it. Accidental? I don't know. I grew up with an older sister and a younger brother, and not one time did I ever get bashed in the head by them. What's up, Sparky? Just wanted to say hello. I'm out shopping for an anniversary gift. Ooh, lucky man. I'm clueless. We like wallets and boots. Go get him a pair of boots. Or maybe tickets to like a comedy show or something. The taser and DNA. Yeah, I don't really know the case that well. But you definitely seem like you've already made up your mind, so I'm not going to argue about it. You have to keep an open mind, A lot of people think they've already solved the case. I've solved it. CJK, oddities in the John Bonet case, but I never thought her family killed her and covered it. Well, there's no evidence of that. I don't think they've ever connected the ransom note to anybody in the house. So I agree, Anna. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Why not take the body out of the home and bring it somewhere else and then report her missing? Why leave her there? Why do a whole ransom note? The ransom note fits in with the profile of the killer, right? Somebody who's somewhat disorganized, but fearless. They were in the home and they could care less about being seen, or, there was no awkwardness about it. They made themselves at home there for a reason. And I believe they were stalking John Bonet because of her participation in the pageants and things like that. It was definitely a pedophile. that was into some sick shit. If there was some kind of an accident that happened, I just don't see keeping that young boy quiet, or keeping him from looking like he's guilty. I just don't see it. Yeah, those are the vibes I'm getting, V. I've heard that song, Star. Humanimal says the grand jury voted to indict, and Alex Hunter decided not to bring charges. Well, being indicted is different than, having probable cause and then having certainty. It's two different things. You can indict a potato, honestly. And all you need is probable cause for an indictment. But to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt, if you can do that, that's when you go forward with charges. And they couldn't do it. And I believe it was tunnel vision, and that's the reason why the case hasn't been solved, because they were too focused on somebody inside that home, which it should be. The first thing they should look at is the people closest to the victim, family, friends, neighbors, of course. And I can see it being difficult if you can't exclude them, but getting that tunnel vision like that, you're not going to get justice for that little girl. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You're telling me you're going to strangle your own daughter, and then bash her head in like that? Doesn't make any sense. Miss Stogler with the super chat. This is why I love Ricky Jarvis so much. He called them all out at the Golden Globe Awards. Watch it if you haven't seen it. Yeah, that was legendary. Legendary. What's up, Stephanie? Welcome in. Yeah, I think she paid Oprah $2.5 million just to step up on the stage. Like, what the fuck? That's crazy. She ran a horrible campaign. Yep, I agree with that, Anna. Sometimes prosecutors cannot legally bring charges. It happens. Yeah, you can be indicted. Yep. Well, you've already made up your mind, Humanimal. And Diddy added a death penalty lawyer to his team. Yikes. What the hell's that all about? No, YouTube. I think it's me. I don't know what I think I need to reset my router. And I meant to do that before today's live stream because yesterday was really bad too. So I'll make sure I'll do that when we're done here. What's up, homie? Don't play that. How you doing? Oh, I love metal. I like Black Dahlia Murders, Children of Bodom, stuff like that. War is really, I really like War. What's up, Jay? All right, you guys, let's take a look at this sick SOB.
2 files on the next matter, Your Honor, involving people versus Robert Kenneth Lindscott, files number 2446889FC and 2446890FC. The defendant is before the court today for purposes of sentencing with his attorney, Christine Tober. We received a sentencing memorandum from the defense counsel involving a scoring of OB 12-0. She is correct. There are no within 24 consecutive hour offenses that we have any record of, so we have no objection to that request. Your Honor, this is a very serious case. The defendant stands before the court today with 2 similar charges involving 2 similar incidents involving 2 very young victims. The defendant has been convicted of and treated for these types of offenses previously, and yet here is out in the public doing the same types of behavior, and his victims are becoming younger and younger. We're asking the court to take this very seriously. I know that one of the victims has written a statement that she has provided to the court. I know that I've asked the court if the court had received that, and the court said the court had and have reviewed that. I'm asking the court to take that into significant consideration as well as his record, and the fact that this behavior just continues to happen amongst our community and sentence appropriately.
Stover.
Thank you, Your Honor. Both Mr. Lindscott and I have had the opportunity to review the pre-sentence investigation report. In addition to that, we did receive a one-page statement regarding case 890, ending in 890. So we have reviewed that also, Your Honor. I did write that sentencing memorandum, and it is in regards to the fact that Mr. Lindscott was evaluated and did have some evaluations done.
Perfect
Your Honor,
example
I know
of a
that
reoffender right
that
here.
court has reviewed that information. In regarding that, he would be a positive candidate for probation, Your Honor. And the evaluation stated that he has some insight into the factors that contributed to
More than we think.
this particular behavior. He has identified ways that he can address this behavior in the future. He is motivated for treatment, Your Honor. I know that
What's up, Lorraine?
he's not going to be making a statement, Your Honor, today because he did do a no contest plea. But he did ask that I address the court in regards to he does recognize the pain, the anguish, the emotional distress that he's caused in this particular case. He is very remorseful for that.
Let's go to the super chat here. Here in the UK, we really need justice for Madeleine McCann, 3 years old when she disappeared in Portugal in 2007. I remember that day so clearly. I'm not familiar with that case. Feel free to send me anything important if you want me to cover it on one of these anything and everything live streams.
He's asking that the court follow the recommendation in the report.
You're Mr. Lindscott?
Yes.
Have you had an adequate opportunity to read and review the pre-sentence report?
Yes, I have, sir.
Any additions or corrections that you wish to make?
I'm sorry, sir.
Any additions or corrections that you wish to make?
No, sir.
Anything that you would like to say before sentence is imposed?
That I am sorry and remorseful. to
What's
this
harsh
happening,
reality, Scott?
And it will never happen again.
Does that conclude your comments?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. The court had the opportunity also to review the pre-sentence report that was conducted in the Hudsonville District Court a few years ago.
Yeah,
as a
shoot me an
result of
email.
Misconduct. So in reviewing your record, it appears that you had an indecent exposure conviction in 2015.
I'll
You
write
were
that
sentenced
down.
to probation and jail for 90 days with a 5-day review. It looks like you did the 5 days, so the balance of that jail sentence was suspended and the discharge was termed a successful probation. In 2020, there was a conviction in Hudsonville, which I just mentioned. You got 30 days in jail. It looks like you only did 1 day in jail at that particular point in time. So the balance of the jail time was suspended. You did 12 months of probation. There was a third and a fourth incident in Hudsonville as well. They were dismissed as part of that agreement back in 2020. So we had at least 4 victims up until that point in time.
Yeah, I'll check them out
Now
for
we
sure,
have 2
Scott.
separate exposures here involving 2 additional victims here. So we have 6 victims over 10 years.
Harsh reality.
You've completed probation. It was described as a successful completion of probation. I guess that's debatable whether it was successful or not, because apparently you didn't learn from your misconduct.
What do you mean debatable?
So
Nonchalant as
probation
judge.
is not successful at all. As part of that 2020 pre-sentence investigation report from Hudsonville, I also reviewed a sex risk assessment that was conducted. You were described as low risk. Obviously, that was wrong. You know right from wrong. I mean, let's face it. You're mature. You're not youthful. This was done to youthful indiscretion. Low level of sanctions.
Oh, is it one of the bigger channels?
This affects the quality of life for a community. It really does. So this needs to be sanctioned appropriately, especially.
See, the problem is fathers are not responsible for their actions. If you expose yourself to a young girl, there's a good chance that the father is going to chop your head off. Just a FYI.
Especially when we have a repeat offender who, in spite of very reasonable treatment by the district court, you continue to reoffend. So, okay, that's what you're going to get. In the misdemeanor file, 24-46890, this is a 1-year misdemeanor charge. That's what you were convicted of. It's 365 days in the Ottawa County Jail. You must pay state costs, crime victim costs. In file number 889, this is the felony case. The aggravated indecent exposure. It is the sentence of this court that you be placed on probation for 36 months, 180 days in jail, credit for 30 days previously served. Must pay state costs, crime victim costs, and DNA fees that are required by statute. Attorney fee.
It's not enough, man. This is the way I feel about people like this. If you can't control yourself to the point where you're exposing yourself to children in public, these are the people that commit murders. These are the people that commit the sexual assaults on young children and then commit the murder to conceal the crime. These are the killers. These guys right here, these guys who are exposing themselves, these guys who are molesting young children and stalking women, these are the people who cannot control themselves at all. And then once they do these horrible acts, they simply throw away these people like trash to keep themselves from being in prison. So this guy, 100%, in my opinion, is a killer. If he hasn't already killed, he will kill in the future, because that's what they do. They can't control themselves, and then they murder to cover it up. And I think that's what happened with Abby and Libby. That's what happened with Carly Brusha. I think that's what happens with a lot of these cases. These sick fucks are out there walking amongst our children, stalking them, exposing themselves to them, sharing CSAM online. And then when they actually go through with it in real life, they commit the murder to conceal that crime that they were unable to control. So this man right here is a perfect example of a child killer, because most child killers are those sick pedophiles. And the murder is just their way of covering up what they could not control.
$300. The balance of the terms of probation will be on a written probation order that you will receive shortly. These are final sentences. You may file an application to the Court of Appeals regarding your conviction and sentence. If you're unable to hire an attorney, this court will appoint one to represent you at public expense. You need to fill out the paperwork you've been provided, return it within 42 days. I also note I did receive a victim impact statement, and your misconduct significantly adversely affected a member of our community, and she's entitled to be protected. That is all. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome in, Scott. I think I pulled an article on this guy too. I just wanted a little bit more information about him. His name's Robert Bob Lindscott, 68 years old. Georgetown Township, Michigan. The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office arrested a man Monday suspected of exposing himself to young girls at a Georgetown Township business. Robert Bob Lindscott, 68, allegedly exposed himself to a teenage girl at a business on Baldwin Street near 36th Avenue on June 24th around 4:30 p.m. However, he had left the area before deputies arrived, authorities said. Lindscott is accused of returning to the business on July 28th, again exposing himself to the young girl. Same girl. and leaving before deputies could get to the establishment. Investigators were eventually able to identify and then arrest him from his Georgetown township. And he was already charged before this with a crime of doing something very similar. Investigators were eventually able to identify and then arrest him from his Georgetown township residence the next day, authorities said. The 68-year-old was charged with 2 counts of indecent exposure by a sexually delinquent person on Tuesday. He is being held at the Ottawa County Jail where his bond is set at $100,000. I guarantee this guy will harm another child. When he's done with this sentence, this really light sentence, I think that he could kill. These are the men that are killing our children. They don't go out with the intentions to kill. They do it because they can't control their actions. They do it to conceal what they've done. No empathy or reasoning. And they won't stop either. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate that. It's good to have you here as well. I don't think they can, Mustang. Mustang says, I think they can control themselves, but choose not to. But I agree there is no rehabilitation for sex offenders, sexual assault offenders. I don't think they can, Mustang. I mean, what drives a man to first communicate with a young girl online, right? And then what drives that same man to send nasty pictures back and forth? And then what drives that same man to show up at a hotel room where there's a 7 and an 11-year-old? It's this uncontrollable urge. The murder is just a byproduct of that urge. You know, they're overwhelmed with regret, and they have absolutely no care about the child. I think that's exactly what happened with Richard Allen. His intentions were sexual assault. I think he would have been successful if it wasn't for the van that showed up. And the fact that he couldn't do it, now he still gets the regret, right? He still becomes overwhelmed with the regret after having undressed them, kidnapped them, forced them off that bridge. And now what comes next? The murder, to conceal what they're feeling that regret about, which is that uncontrollable urge. I mean, what else could drive a man to expose himself in public to 2 young girls? Right? That's some kind of uncontrollable sickness right there. And I just don't know how to defend our kids from that. I'm open to any suggestions, because a lot of these people are school teachers. They're your neighbors. They're your coaches. They're your coworkers. They're your family members, right? I just don't know how to see it coming. Shane says, yeah, I think the murder is a cover-up for their true motive. Absolutely. I mean, I just don't see how anybody with an ounce of control is out there exposing themselves to 2 young girls who are working at an ice cream shop. I mean, there's absolutely no control there. So that means that this person could come back and attempt to abduct or sexually assault these children. And then now that they've committed this act that they are unable to control, then comes the murder to conceal it. Hey, what's up, Chopper? Steak medium rare with chips, mushroom chips, egg fried tomatoes, and a pint of Guinness. Oh, I love Guinness. I used to have two not pints, but I don't know what you guys call them, steins. 2 large steins. That used to be my dinner. That's a young man's dinner. Okay. So let's check out the Poll. How do you like your steak? 59% of you say medium. Sorry about that, guys. If you're seeing like this glitchiness going on with the live stream, that's all on my end. So we have 59% say medium, 19% say well, 17% of you are savages and say bloody, and then we have a few more vegans that showed up. 4% of you said, I'm vegan, you murderer. Damn savages. Here, maybe if I shut this window, it'll help. What's up, KT? Absolute scum. That's a child killer right there. If you're exposing yourself to children, that's a killer. You are doing something that you cannot control. The murder is the byproduct. It's to cover up the shame. I'm telling you guys, I'm learning how to profile these sick fucks. All right, let's go. I think we'll save the Shane Mian discussion for the end. Right now, let's transition into this shit. I think his name is Adelai Maestro. That's how they pronounce it on local news, but I don't think that's correct. All right, let's try this.
The 24-year-old man accused of killing his family and shooting their dog into Harris went before a judge today.
New Mexico.
The Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office says when they showed up to the scene, they found Adelai Maestro with a gun covered in blood. News 13's Jessica Baron is live in the Newsplex with details.
Today, a judge heard from a BCSO agent who described gun casings all around the home and a brutal crime scene. At one point, Maestro even interrupted his attorney, saying he wants to talk for himself.
You could see drag marks, blood that went over various bushes and trees and down into the ravine.
Detailed testimony from a BCSO case agent describing the bloody scene they discovered over the weekend. On Sunday, detectives arrived to a home in Tijeras after the landlord next door reported hearing gunshots. A BCSO agent saying today they found Adelai Maestro covered in blood and the bodies of his father, mother, and 17-year-old sister, all with gunshot wounds.
And we located them in the ravine, face down, lying on top of one another.
BCSO told the court they found 10 9mm casings around the house and said the bodies also had evidence of blunt force trauma. Deputies explained the family dog had been shot 3 times, and although it was found alive, animal control had to euthanize it because of its injuries. As part of their case to keep Maestro locked up, state prosecutors played surveillance video showing him kicking a hole through a wall while at the sheriff's station.
Jesus. Imagine that shit.
As state prosecutors described finding evidence of Maestro trying to clean up the scene, Maestro raised his hand in court, appearing as if he wanted to speak, his defense attorney telling him to wait. But finally, Maestro interrupted, saying his medication had been stolen and that he tried to escape because he was scared.
I have a lot I have to say. May the media please get pictures of the corpses because my father was throwing this up and my mother was throwing this up. And their wounds were healed and blackened. May the media, may you please release the photos to the media because I'm fighting for my life.
Maestro's attorney argued he would be better off out of jail under.
He said that his mom and his father and his mother were throwing up gang signs.
Supervision and on the proper medication, but the judge sided with the state, saying Maestro poses a danger to the community and ordered him to be held pending trial.
Yeah, you'd have to be out of your damn mind to let this guy out. He's off his rocker.
Outside to talk to deputies and is quickly handcuffed.
Don't. I'm trying to hit my heart.
10-4, there's possibly 3 individuals deceased in the house.
2 other deputies quickly start searching the home.
You guys take left, I got right.
I will.
Bernalillo County Sheriff's sheriff's office. We see a knife at the staircase, and as we're going up, there's blood. There's a trail of blood everywhere.
Back at the BCSO unit, Maestre is asking officers if they have found the bodies.
Real quick, I meant to ask you, the Fabio Ortega? No, tell me a little bit about that, KT.
Of his father, mother, and young sister.
Can you find the bodies?
Yeah, we found them.
Deputies take Maestre in for questioning.
When you say you had to, what did you have to do? Kill. Okay, you had to kill him? Okay. And we lost consciousness.
Maestre goes on about hearing seismic waves and drawing on a pad given to him by the deputy before he tells him he took them outside and put their bodies near the ravine.
Seismic waves.
Take any type of drug or anything like that? No.
Later on, deputies leave him in the room where he tries to make a run for it.
Jesus Christ Jesus, Heavenly Father, please bring Eve to be uttered.
Your mom, your dad, and your sister are dead.
Meanwhile, another deputy is tasked with the difficult job of breaking the devastating news to the older sister that her mother, father, and younger sister have died, and her brother is in custody.
I agree, Anna.
Did he hear voices? Yes.
Yeah. And was he supposed to be taking medication?
Yes.
Do you know?
And I'm pretty sure that's why. Because even I started getting on his about it.
Now, deputies were able to confirm in interviews that Maestre was not taking his medication properly. He is currently in custody.
Yeah, I think I think this will be a successful insanity plea. I believe this dude is absolutely separated from reality. I mean, he is 100% out of it.
And trust. You're watching KRQE News 13 at 4.
Good afternoon.
Cheers.
A disturbing and grisly scene this weekend in the East Mountains,
I know you guys keep talking about that Guinness. I might have to go get me some later.
where a 24-year-old man is accused of killing his parents and teenage sister and dragging their bodies into a ravine. BCSO arrested that man yesterday in Tijeras. News 13's Jessica Salinas is live in the Newsplex with the story.
Adelai Maestro is in MDC custody after BCSO says they arrived to the property and they found him with a handgun, uttering something like, "I killed them and was going to bury them."
It saddens me to come up in front of you to brief on a whole family has been murdered in cold blood.
The Bernalillo County Sheriff is
Shane.
speaking out today about a triple homicide in the East Mountains. 24-year-old Adelai Maestro is in custody after he's accused of taking the lives of his father, mother, and younger sister.
He told officers, Anna, that the dog was ravenous. So, I mean, this guy's absolutely out of his mind. You know, he's just talking nonsense.
Along with a dog in their home near Young Road in Tijeras.
Deputies immediately observed what appeared to be red blood stains on Adelai's clothing, and without being prompted, Adelai began making statements about killing his family.
According to a criminal complaint, the property owner who lives nearby heard shots just before 3 yesterday afternoon and called BCSO. The deputies who arrived say they found blood on Maestro's shoes, shirt, and hands. They say he had a handgun and ammunition along with a knife and a meat tenderizer with blood on them.
Once detectives arrived, they considered Adelai was making delusional statements and also noticed and they revealed 3 family members that were laying in a ravine around the residence.
Deputies discovered Maestro's father, Raimundo, 46, mother, Berta, 51, and 17-year-old sister, Braylee, face down in a ravine about 50 yards from the home. According to deputies, Adelai told them he killed his dad in the living room and his mom when he was coming down the stairs, and stated he shot the dog because it was, quote, ravenous. Deputies say he tried to clean up before they arrived.
How long were they there? How long did this actually happen? We don't know. It's still very early. A big piece and significant evidence is always through the Office of the Medical Investigator.
Deputies are still investigating, but at this point, they do know the firearm was in the home legally.
The firearm came from Texas through an FFL, and it was given to the mother in a legal manner. Everything was done legally up to that point.
Oh, Nassau is disgusting. Just hearing that name makes my skin crawl. Or Nasser, yeah, out of Indiana. He's an MD who was allowed to SA patients in Chicago for years, young girls, older women, similar. Yeah, there was an incident in Mesa, Arizona, near where my dad lives. And it was at a nursing home. And some of the patients were catatonic. Their family was just kind of paying for them to, for their well-being, people to take care of them while they're in a catatonic state. And one of the older women, I think she was like in her late 50s. She had been in a catatonic state for years, became pregnant. And they found out it was one of the caretakers who was having sex with her in the middle of the night and got her pregnant. And the family is raising the child to this day. So I thought that was very commendable of them. Yeah, it's not the child's fault. So you can look that case up. It happened in Mesa, Arizona. And here's that video here. This dude is out of his damn mind. He's like, oh shit, I can kick right through that. My question is, where are the investigators? Like, there's nobody even around? Like, you're telling me you have a prisoner in one of your interrogation rooms and you don't hear him. Well, maybe that's normal. Maybe it's normal for people to be banging on the walls and stuff like that. Do you see his little hesitation right there? I thought that was kind of funny. He's like, which way do I go? So yeah, it's a bizarre case. Adelai Maestro. Fucking crazy. All right, I'm going to catch up on the chat, and then we're going to get into a little bit of the Delphi case. And really, this, it doesn't have anything to do with the Delphi case. This whole Shane Mian debacle. They're sick, Miss Doglover. I think this is a legitimate case of psychosis, for real. Okay, so when people bring up Greg Ferenczi being targeted by Shane Mian because he was trying to cover up what really happened with Delphi, first of all, Shane Mian is not an Odinist. There's no evidence that shows that he was into Odinism, Asatru, or anything like that. I mean, he doesn't have any weird tattoos. You can go check out his Facebook friends. His Facebook is wide open. I would have showed it, but it has a lot of pictures of his children and things like that. Thought that'd be in bad taste. But you can go look privately on your own. It's public. All of his friends are normal. They look like regular people. He himself was running for mayor of his small town. And he has no affiliation with any of these people that were named as far as the Odinism. He was a prison guard at one point, so I guess there is kind of a connection there. But he's not into Odinism. And you're going to see people lying online about it because they don't care. They don't have any morals, They're unethical people. They're going to lie to help you believe what they're saying because they've already convinced themselves. They just don't want to be alone in it. So they have no qualms in lying to help convince you, right? Because if they've already convinced themselves, they're justified in their actions moving forward. Yeah, I mean, why is the judge even having a conversation, Anna, about letting him out on bond? This dude just brutally murdered his entire family, except the only person he did not kill in his family was his older sister. He killed his mother, he killed his father, he killed his young sister and the dog, and now he's in prison. So his older sister's entire family is wiped out. Just like that. That's crazy, KT. How the hell did he get away with it for so long? All right. So let's go ahead and jump into this here. It reminds me of a verse in the Bible, Matthew 7:24-27. And here's some interpretations of that. Jesus uses an illustration of two builders to contrast living life according to his teachings and not. Wise builder. Those who listen to and follow Jesus's teachings are like a wise man who builds a house on a rock. The house stands firm even in the face of storms because it's built on a solid foundation. I think that goes for investigating a case as well. You know, if you don't build your investigation on on solid ground, it'll fall apart. And when it comes to the Odinism and all of that stuff, it's exactly built. They built this theory on sand. It's all based off of the sticks, right? It's all based off of this, and I think I have the other photo. Libby's tree. Saying that this is some kind of a rune and that the sticks represent a bind rune, when really it's just 100% up for debate. You know, there's no proof that that's what these are. As a matter of fact, the experts would disagree with that. So they're basing everything off of this idea that this is a rune and the sticks are a message in the form of a bind rune. So without even having proof of that, this leads to all this other crazy conspiracies and leading or believing defense attorneys. Remember, guys, a defense, it's their goal to create doubt. So of course they're going to do their best to create third-party suspects. It's not your job to follow blindly. You know, always reminds me of the Pied Piper. You know, these people are like little mice that are following the guy playing the flute. It's ridiculous. Let's take a look at who Detective Greg Ferenczi was first.
Coverage on yesterday's shooting that killed Detective Greg Ferenczi. News 10's Blake Dahlier is live at the Vigo County Courthouse. He's going to explain a little bit more about who Detective Ferenczi was. Blake.
Susan, it's been about 24 hours since that deadly shooting that killed Detective Greg Ferenczi. Now, that happened just across the street from where I'm standing right now, and Tucker White showed you that just a moment ago. Now, I went to the FBI press conference a couple hours ago, and I heard a little bit more about Ferenczi's life and his career. News 10 had often talked to Ferenczi. As you can see, this is some old video of him speaking with us. Ferenczi worked 30 years with the Terre Haute Police Department. He's been a task force officer with the FBI since 2010. He also trained officers on how to handle matters like drugs, violent crime, and human trafficking. Risk assessments were also a significant part of Ferenczi's job. Police tell us Ferenczi was, quote, the guy we'd turn to. His 30 years on the police force was one the community won't soon forget.
You'll not meet a finer person. You don't spend 30 years in this profession without being dedicated. And he was absolutely dedicated.
As you can tell, just a very somber day, understandably so, within the Terre Haute Police Department. Now, we'll have their full reaction, as well as reaction from FBI agent Paul Keenan later, coming up at 6 o'clock.
Okay, so before I read the probable cause affidavit, I want to play a few more videos. Here's a photograph of Shane. You know, and right now he's been deemed incompetent to stand trial because this dude is out of his mind. Just like that Adelai character. This guy is just completely insane. He's off his rocker. This is a 2013 mugshot. He's not covered in Odinism tattoos. He doesn't have anything that I can see that even ties him to any of that stuff. Yeah, you're going to hear people lying about it online constantly. to feed into the narrative.
During that,
a man accused of killing a local police officer appeared in federal court today. Shane Mian is accused of murdering Terre Haute Police Detective Greg Ferenczi. Since his arrest in 2021, Mian has undergone mental health analysis to determine if he is able to stand trial. News 10's Ben Verbanek was in Indianapolis today and sat in on today's hearing. He explains what happened.
Shane Mian was only in court today for about 20 minutes. He was shackled and showed little emotion throughout the proceedings. The purpose of today's hearing was for a judge to determine if Mian was mentally competent enough to stand trial. After reviewing reports from multiple court-approved psychologists, the judge decided that Mian is not competent enough to stand trial, at least for now. In court, the judge said that this ruling was fairly straightforward. The judge has spent time reviewing multiple reports and evaluations from clinical psychologists. There was one specific report the judge says gave substantial weight to his decision. According to the report, a doctor spent long periods of time with Mian, conducting in-depth clinical and forensic interviews. During that time period, the doctor cited that Mian's mental condition had continued to deteriorate. Ultimately, the report claimed that Mian was suffering from a mental disease or disaffect that made it impossible for him to understand the implications of the crime he is accused of committing. After court was adjourned, Mian was remanded into custody for further evaluation.
So this is a guy who was suffering from mental health issues, and it just continued to deteriorate.
Breaking news, criminal charges have now been filed in the death of that Terre Haute police officer.
Court documents that were just released within the last hour reveal the suspect's name. He's pictured here. This is Shane Mian. We're told that he threw a Molotov cocktail at the FBI office. This is a mugshot of him dating back to 2013. That's when he was arrested here in Indianapolis for trespassing and criminal intoxication. Those charges were dismissed because he then went into a diversion program. Investigators say that Mian shot the officer Ferenczi, after throwing that Molotov cocktail. The officer was able to shoot back before he died.
The FBI is now saying they searched Mian's home and found evidence there, but they haven't said what they found. No word yet on a possible motive. Mian is now charged with the murder of a federal agent.
Rich and I has been in Vigo County all day today, working to learn more about what happened.
And Rich joins us now live. So what have you learned, Rich?
Well, Scott and Anne Marie, the criminal complaint, filed by federal prosecutors this afternoon indicates that 44-year-old Shane Mian came here to the FBI office in Terre Haute on Wednesday afternoon with violence on his mind. The court record says that about 2:15 on Wednesday afternoon, Mian came here and threw a Molotov cocktail at the FBI building. And that's when Detective Greg Ferenczi came out and Mian shot him. According to court records, Ferenczi returned fire. Another FBI agent ran out and fired at Mian, who was hit. But Mian was able to drive himself to Terre Haute Regional Hospital in a Ford F-150 Gold pickup truck. He underwent surgery and is in custody at the hospital. In that truck, investigators say they found a .45 semi-automatic handgun and more Molotov cocktails. The FBI also went to Mian's home here in Terre Haute and gathered more evidence. This is the same Shane Mian who ran for mayor of Terre Haute back in 2019.
Yep.
Detective Ferenczi served in the Terre Haute Police Department for 30 years, and for the last decade was also a task force agent with the FBI.
See, and there's people out here that are pushing this narrative that I don't know if they're sick or what it is. I don't know how you can push a narrative without one piece of actual evidence. Their theory is that Greg Ferenczi, a seasoned professional of over 30 years, was targeted and murdered because he was investigating the Odinism angle. Shane Mian has no connections to that whatsoever.
I've known Greg for over 24 years, around 24 years. He was actually my neighbor right before I came on the police department. You'll not meet a finer person. You don't spend 30 years in this profession without being dedicated. And he was absolutely dedicated.
You know, I've heard the word senseless numerous times, and I
All right, guys. I'm running out of time here, so I just want to go through this affidavit really quickly before we get out of here. So July 7th, 2021, County Vigo, Southern District of Indiana. Okay, the following information is based on my personal knowledge, training, and experience. That's just information about the person who's writing the affidavit. But we'll start here on 3, the probable cause. The FBI maintains a resident agency in the city of Terre Haute within the Southern District of Indiana. Terre Haute Police Department Detective Gregory J. Ferenczi has been employed as an FBI task force officer since 2010. On July 7th, 2021, Detective Ferenczi was on duty and working as an FBI task force officer, TFO, at the Terre Haute, I think that's a regional office. I don't know what RA stands for. In the afternoon hours of July 7th, 2021, Mian was driving a tan 2003 Ford F-150 pickup truck and repeatedly drove in the vicinity of Terre Haute. At approximately 2:03 p.m. on July 7th, 2021, Mian pulled next to the gate at the secured entrance of the parking lot. Mian got out of his truck, moved in preparation around his vehicle, and lobbed an incendiary device, a Molotov cocktail. You guys know what that is? It's like a bottle filled with gasoline and a piece of cloth through the top that acts as a wick. Shortly after Mian threw the incendiary device, TFO Ferenczi walked out of the Terre Haute building. Now, how would Mian know that it would be Ferenczi that walked out of that building? There was multiple officers that came out of the building. Mian, who was holding a firearm in his right hand, raised the firearm towards Ferenczi and shot him. Although Ferenczi returned fire, he later died as a result of his injuries he suffered when he was shot by Mian. Now, everybody says that Greg Ferenczi was a great person, very dedicated to his job. Shortly after Mian shot Ferenczi, FBI Special Agent Ryan Lindgren ran out of the Terre Haute building and engaged Mian in a gun battle. Mian was shot 2 times by Ferenczi or Lindgren. Despite being shot, Mian got into his truck and fled from the Terre Haute building. Law enforcement subsequently located Mian at Vigo County Regional Hospital, where Mian underwent surgery for his gunshot wounds. Law enforcement applied for and received a federal search warrant authorized by Honorable Doris L. Pryor, United States Magistrate Judge, for Mian's F-150. A search of Mian's truck revealed a Smith & Wesson M&P 45 semi-automatic handgun. The Smith & Wesson M&P 45 was loaded with 1 round in the chamber. 2 additional rounds of .45 caliber ammunition were found in the front seat area of the Ford. Also found inside the Ford were 3 Molotov cocktails, 2 empty boxes of .45 caliber Hornady critical duty ammunition, and additional handgun magazines. Conclusion: based on the foregoing, there is probable cause to believe that Mian committed the above described violation. So that's what happened, guys. I haven't seen any evidence of Odinism or anything like that. If you have, feel free to send it to me, sleuthintuition@gmail.com, and I will recant. that statement. All right, guys, I am out of time. I think that's going to do it for today's Anything and Everything Part 4. Shout out to all of you who made the live stream. Shout out to the replay crew. If you have anything to add, drop a comment. We'll get back to you. We are going to be covering the Idaho 4 murders later today, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's Arizona time. It's about a 2-hour difference from you Indiana folks. Special thanks to everybody who sponsored today's live stream. Sensei, thank you. Cindy, big shout out to Cindy. Thank you so much. Miss Dog Lover, excuse me, and Mustang. You guys rock. If you guys are interested in any of this merch, free shipping, go to sleuthintuition.com and send me a Cash App or a Venmo or a Zelle or whatever, and I'll get it out to you within a day or two. All righty. So I'll see you guys a little bit later in the day. If you need to reach me for whatever reason, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. And I think what we have for our next Anything and Everything, we'll look into the Madeline McCann case, Frank Jarvis Atwood, and Fabio Ortega. And also I'll be checking out the YouTube channel Harsh Reality, and I'll get back to you guys on that. Let me close out the poll. So if you guys haven't voted on the poll, go do so now. You got it, Martha. Shane, thanks for hanging out. Hopefully I'll see you a little bit later then, Charles. And later on in the week, well, actually tomorrow we're going to be covering the Florida fires. Next week, we're going to be covering the Maura Murray case. I'm going to have a case expert on by the name of Chandler. This will be a part 2. If you want to see part 1, you can go to my channel for that. And we're going to continue to cover the Florida fire case. And tomorrow we'll discuss my person of interest. And hopefully we can start bringing some attention to that case. Shame. Medium wins. I don't know. It's taking forever to pull up. There it is. Okay, so the poll question. How do you like your steak? 59% of you said medium, 20% said well, 17% said bloody, 4% said I'm vegan. You murderer. All right, guys. Hopefully I'll see you a little bit later in the day. Make sure you enjoy yourselves. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out.